First here at 11 o'clock, we are bringing you right up to date on the severe weather threat for Kentuckiana overnight. A massive tornado watch is now out for so many states to our west. Will it get extended to Metro Louisville as we look at the storms moving through the St. Louis area at the moment? Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this busy Friday night. I'm Doug Proffitt. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine has been watching this approaching system all night long. And so, Ben, what do we need to be on the lookout for as we head to sleep?
Number one thing, have a way to be alerted to the severe weather watches or warnings during the overnight hours early tomorrow morning. Have the alerts on, your volume up on your cell phone, your mobile phone, and maybe even a backup weather radio. So this is just a huge tornado watch just out to our west with an ongoing severe weather outbreak. About 200 miles west of us is this squall line with severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, dozens of them from Wisconsin, Minnesota, all the way south into Arkansas, and the line continues to grow to the south. So this is moving pretty slowly, though, to the east, and currently we have tornado watches just west of our viewing area in western Indiana, western Kentucky, that go until 3 a.m. Hopefully it doesn't expand to the east. We do expect this line to weaken with time as it gets closer to our area. That doesn't mean we won't have some severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to have to watch that during the overnight. So the higher risk of severe weather out to our west, that is a moderate risk, fairly rare to see it that big, but notice that the risk goes down as you move to the east. As that line moves to the east, it moves into a more unfavorable environment, not as many ingredients for severe weather in our area. Wind advisory with 40+ mile-per-hour winds possible now through 8 p.m. tomorrow. And the current watch is also showing a flood watch from the Bluegrass Parkway to the Cumberland Parkway and areas off to the east, where some spots could see in excess of 3 to 4 inches of rainfall by tomorrow night. As we move into Futurecast here, we're still dry over the next several hours. Notice around 3-4 o'clock in the morning, starting to see that line bump up to our western counties in Indiana, around Du Bois County, Orange County, impacting more of southern Indiana than Kentucky initially from around 4 until 7 a.m. We'll have to watch out for the Derby 10K tomorrow morning with this line moving in, possibly around 6 a.m. And then non-severe showers and thunderstorms for most of the morning time. This is what we see here mid-morning. But as we go into the afternoon, a more expansive wave of thunderstorms moving in, which could pack a punch in some areas with some heavy rainfall, gusty winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and maybe even some hail with this. But the higher threat of severe weather will be off to our south over the deep south. By around sunset, that threat of severe weather starts to move off to the east, and we'll just have regular old rain for the rest of Saturday night and into Sunday morning before drying out Sunday afternoon and turning chillier as well. For now, it is a summer-like night and gusty. Wind gusts 33 miles per hour and still in the 70s out there after we tied a record high at 82 earlier this afternoon. We'll time out these storms again coming up in more detail. Doug?
All right, look forward to that. Very good. Thank you, Ben. Now's a great time to download the free WHAS11 app. How to do it? Well, go ahead and scan that QR code you see right on your screen. That'll download the app for you. You can watch WHAS11 newscasts. And if you lose power, you can still stay in touch with us for important weather impact alerts. A developing story, news since 6. A man who was in the Louisville jail died at the hospital today. Louisville Metro Corrections says they responded to the 54-year-old who was housed in the medical unit. He was found unresponsive just before 3:30 this afternoon. He was quickly taken to the hospital, where hours later it was confirmed he died. The man had been in the downtown jail since 2022. Officers believe he died of natural causes. And right here, new tonight, the crackdown on undocumented immigrants has swept into Kentucky. We learned today that 81 people have been arrested in connection with ICE raids across Kentucky and in Louisville. Of the 81, 18 are facing additional criminal charges. The arrests include this man, David Zuniga Baca of Honduras. ICE Chicago, working in Louisville, says he has a long criminal history, including battery of a police officer. Then there's Ronnie Ochoa Borquez, also arrested in Louisville. ICE Chicago says he's a citizen of Honduras as well and has convictions for robbery, several thefts, and DUIs. And Homeland Security in Nashville also says they arrested a father and son at a Louisville business. Investigators say the father has been removed 15 times and state charges for DUI, narcotics trafficking, and assault. Those arrested are not criminally charged will be held in ICE custody pending removal proceedings and potential deportation. Right here, new tonight in a shocking move, 9 Democratic senators voted to advance a Republican-backed stopgap funding bill, averting a government shutdown, but splitting the party. The charge was led by the Senate Minority Leader, Democrat Chuck Schumer, who said they faced an awful choice. Now members of Schumer's own party attacking the senator and calling for new leadership as the funding bill now heads to President Donald Trump's desk for his signature. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee reporting from Washington.
The Senate passed a bill to fund the government into the fall, avoiding a government shutdown that was set to be triggered at midnight. The Senate voted 54 to 46 to pass the bill.
The bill is passed.
8 Democrats and 1 independent voted with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to keep the funding bill moving forward, despite blowback from other members of their party.
My job as leader is to lead the party, and if there's going to be danger in the near future, to protect the party, and I'm proud I did it.
I mean, I was told that that was what was going to happen. Very good. And I appreciate Senator Schumer, and I think he did the right thing. Really, I'm very impressed by that.
The Senate voted on 4 different amendments, one of which would make military veteran federal employees dismissed without cause eligible to be reinstated. Another amendment prohibiting the use of appropriated funds by DOJ. The bill funds the government through September 30th. All of this coming after a showdown on Capitol Hill, with Senate Democrats initially saying they wouldn't support a bill passed by House Republicans. Some argued it allows President Trump and Elon Musk to continue gutting agencies and slashing the federal government without approval from lawmakers.
There's nothing in this legislation coming over from the House that provides any constraints with respect to allowing Elon Musk to continue his illegal rampage throughout the federal government.
Republicans pointing the finger and rejecting Democrats' appeals for just a 1-month extension.
It's all up to Democrats whether or not they want to close down government.
A government shutdown would have put millions of federal workers at risk of losing a paycheck. This as federal workers grapple with layoffs and the closure of federal agencies. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Right here, new on the night team, a new proposal from JCPS would merge 2 elementary schools and split a middle school into 2 buildings. The proposal would combine Whitney Young and Engelhard elementary schools, placing the magnet program at Young in Engelhard's old building. Now, the proposal cites low enrollment at both schools and the growing enrollment at Hudson Middle School. JCPS will vote on the proposal at their next board meeting coming up next Tuesday. Meantime, state legislatures are officially wrapping up the 2025 session today, and the big news in Kentucky, JCPS escaping a takeover or breakup. You've heard so much about it, but it is not crossing the finish line. The Senate bill received no last-minute movement today after being sent back to the committee in Frankfort. The bill would have allowed the Kentucky Department of Education to take control of underperforming individual schools and to fire teachers and principals. However, lawmakers did pass a bill banning cell phones in classrooms. That bill passed unanimously in the House and the Senate and now heads to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear's desk. Abortion was also a hot topic on the last day of the session in Kentucky. Lawmakers again did not add exceptions to Kentucky's near total abortion ban for rape and incest, but lawmakers have passed a bill to outline when a Kentucky doctor can perform an abortion to save a woman's life. Republican State Representative Kim Moser, a former NICU nurse and flight nurse, helped draft the bill, which she believes will help keep doctors from fleeing the state out of fear of criminal prosecution. The bill is now sitting on the governor's desk, who has already voiced his concern.
Is it more or less restrictive than the current understanding in the medical community that we have right now? We need more access, and that's what I'll always push for.
They really felt like they were running into problems treating women with a crisis pregnancy and needed just some clarifications around what they can and can't do.
There's always the chance lawmakers could revisit the JCPS issue. The session goes on hold for 10 days for a veto recess period and then will return for the final 2 days. During those days, the Kentucky legislature could potentially pass new bills and override any of the governor's vetoes.